Alrighty, guys. Good morning to all of you. I am Ryan alongside Caleb here, part of the Indiana Chasing Network, also a sub brand of Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. We are covering the upcoming winter storm that's moving in for our Sunday and Monday time period. There's been a lot of different sources, information, maps being pushed. We're here to give you our take on the whole ordeal, go over the models, timing, and our expectations in terms of snow and ice amounts. So, first and foremost, this is your first time watching, welcome to the stream. We do these videos in front of any important weather, also posting forecasts, timing, all sorts of impactful weather to our pages. So, feel free to follow along, hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're on YouTube. We would greatly appreciate that. Let's go ahead and dive in here, wasting no time. Looking at the model known as the GFS or the American model, showing us how it's going to play out hour by hour. On your screen here, blue is snow, pink is mixed freezing rain, and then green is obviously just plain rain. Starting with this morning, we're going to watch our system developing off to the west here in Oklahoma and Kansas. That is going to be our focus here for tomorrow morning as that moves up our direction. Go ahead and run this through the time frame, move it into Sunday morning. We're going to start seeing our first snowflakes in Indiana roughly around that 6 to 9 a.m. time frame, especially for areas like Vincennes or Evansville down there further south and west. And that will start to move east and north as the morning goes on for your tomorrow morning. This is 10 a.m. here at this model. Let's go to 11. Here's 12. There's noon. And then here is 1 o'clock. We're seeing heavy snow there across the Indianapolis corridor. We're getting orange and sleet, and also pink is freezing rain there. So the whole entire bulk of the precip does move in here roughly Sunday early afternoon around that noon time frame. As it continues, it will move off into the Ohio Valley region, but we'll be in the snow here in Indiana on the north side of Indianapolis for quite some time. And also what's concerning us pretty greatly, the biggest concern really with this system is that freezing rain potential further south there for areas south of Bloomington, especially. We could see a significant icing event further south there. But this is Sunday at 1 a.m. or should I say Monday 1 a.m. Sunday night / Monday morning. And this system will move overnight Monday into Monday morning, still snowing there by the time sunrise Monday rolls around. It's 7 a.m. Monday. Also notice how it changes over to snow on the backside of that as we move to Monday afternoon. And then by Monday evening, we should be waving bye-bye to this system as it moves off to the east and over the ocean. Now, in terms of impacts, in terms of timing here, this is what is confusing a lot of forecast agencies. What we're kind of watching here especially is the heaviest of these snow bands. Now, we're going to pop open what's known as your Kuchera method of total snowfall here. I want to show you guys not the amounts per the model, but the location of it. I'm going to go ahead and take a zoomed in look here at Indiana. I want you to notice this is a GFS model. This is one that's a little bit further north than all the other ones. If I were to switch this through the other main model here, the European, notice the biggest shift is going south of Indianapolis there, but the European is also kind of trending north as well. We go through all these models that we have to kind of look at. We're looking at the Canadian model. We can look at the UK Met. There's just so many different models here that just kind of shift this heaviest snow band north and south here. That just kind of confuses us as to what's going to happen here. So we kind of went ahead and played into what we think is going to happen in terms of the model and past systems moving through. We have a forecast we made based on that. It looks something like this. The heaviest snow swath is expected to be along the Indianapolis corridor of around 6 to 10 inches. Now, this could shift north and south a few miles there. 20 to 30 mile shift is kind of minor, but it is the difference between one county row here. So it can shift still, but we expect the heaviest snow swath to be right around the Terre Haute, Indianapolis, perhaps even Muncie areas, and also the Richmond area there. Further around that, so like Lafayette, Kokomo, Marion, Bloomington, 3 to 6 inches of snow is our forecast here. And as you go further north toward that Warsaw, Fort Wayne area, the amounts will drop off right around 1 to 4 expected up there. And then up by the Michigan border, I'm not expecting too much up there. We did put trace to 2 to account for some models are showing some snow further north for you guys. But I don't think the overall consensus is that's going to snow much, if at all, up there by the Gary, South Bend areas. So we put trace 2 to cover us, but up there, I would not expect too much in the way of accumulating snowfall, just some snow showers at best. Further south here is going to be the main concern, especially in that 6 to 10 south area. They highlighted the yellow zone there for snow, sleet, and freezing rain around the Bloomington area. Now, the closer you get to Indianapolis Metro, the more snow you're going to get. The further south you get toward Vincennes and Evansville, the more freezing rain you're going to get. So we're putting 3 to 6 inches. We put a plus there because some models do have the heaviest swath overlapping that area. But sleet, freezing rain, all that jazz is going to mix in with that. It's going to cut down some totals there. So we put 3 to 6 for now. We could see isolated higher amounts in that region for sure. But I think 3 to 6 is a good bet based on what we're seeing right now. And the main concern is going to be further south toward that Vincennes, Jasper, New Albany, Evansville area where a significant icing event could occur. Our forecast as of now is calling for anywhere from about 15 tenths up to about 3 tenths, or should I say 0.15 up to 0.30, 3 tenths of an inch of ice. Now, to get concerned for power outages and tree damage, stuff like that, we want to see around or over a quarter inch, 0.1 or 0.25 in terms of your icing amounts. We could see in excess of 3 tenths. So we could be seeing more than what the threshold is to be concerned for that. So with that, travel will be pretty much impossible in that area, as well as power outages are likely, as well as I guess the overall expected major impacts will be further south there toward that Vincennes Jasper area. I would get your errands ran today. This is like your last day here to get those ran. I would not advise traveling if you're south of Bloomington during your Sunday or Monday time period. And then if you're in the Indianapolis area, another thing to be keeping an eye on as well, with 6 to 10 inches of snow, we're looking at wind gusts to pick up Sunday night into Monday morning, which also could cause blowing and drifting of snow, but also isolated power outages as winds gust 30 to 40 miles per hour in that region as well. So we're not talking just, good snow amounts and perhaps a significant icing event. We're talking winds gusts here as well that will play a factor into the system. Current alerts, any county in pink, winter storm warning in effect. The counties in purple, winter weather advisory. And then up further north, winter storm watch continues. And the reason that continues is because there's still some uncertainty with shifting of the system. It could shift north still. Those could turn into, the advisories could turn into warnings. The watch turn into advisory, stuff like that. We're not sure just yet. But NWS continued the advisory and the watch further north there until more confidence is had with this system. As far as timing impacts, we do have a timing map out is on ICN. We have 6 to 9 a.m. for areas from Terre Haute to Vincennes to Evansville. Center part of the state, Lafayette, Indianapolis, Bloomington area, we're going with a 7 to 10 a.m. start time. Again, this is Eastern time zone, so take an hour off if you're in Central time on the western part of the state there. Further to the north, we included the areas up by South Bend, Fort Wayne areas. Now, we're not really seeing much in the way of any impacts up there in terms of snow. But if the models that do show snow that far north are correct, we wanted to include you guys in terms of your timing. So further north, we're expecting a little bit later, 1 to 7 p.m. time frame if it snows at all up there. Anywhere further north than that, you're looking at 7 p.m. and beyond. All these graphics are posted on our pages, so feel free to go scroll through them, check them out. If you need to screenshot and refer back to it, feel free to do that. But we have information out there for you guys. With that being said, did I miss anything, Caleb?
I don't think so. I'll share one quick thing here. Again, thanks, guys, for joining us here on this Saturday morning. It is 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me get this up here. I want to emphasize again across southern Indiana for the icing that we were expecting. This is, of course, our first synoptic snow event of the winter season here in Indiana. We have been tracking this system here for a few days now. And let's time out this ice here for you guys. Here we are. This is 8 a.m. Sunday morning. A lot of people are off to church at this time frame. A lot of southern Indiana will start to snow tomorrow morning. I want to emphasize that. The warm front is sitting here across southeastern Missouri, northwestern Tennessee, and northern Arkansas. That is where that warm front is situated at, right in here. As we move throughout the day here, that warm front is going to move north. It's going to stay just south of the Ohio River. On the north side of the warm front, that's where we get into our freezing rain in pink here. When we get into some oranges here, maybe some salmon colors here, that's your sleet, that's your mixed precip, snow, ice pellets. But look at your freezing rain here. This is at 1 p.m. A lot of churches are getting out at this time. Evansville, you're right on the edge here. As we time this out here through the afternoon, you can see the snow is lifting north. Indiana Metro getting into some snow here in Indianapolis. Lafayette, just south of you. Bloomington, you're in the heavy snow right now. This is Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. As we move into Sunday night, this is when the heaviest freezing rain looks to move in, right around Sunday evening between 6 and 10 o'clock. You can see widespread heavy snow across central Indiana. A heavy band of sleet here south of the Indy Metro, everywhere from Bloomington all the way over towards Cincinnati, too, getting right on that edge of the sleet, freezing rain, and snow line there. Would not be surprised to see some sleet mixing in here, even in the heavier blues here, as you may have some warmer air advecting a little bit further north than what this model is portraying as well. Heavy ice across southern Indiana, southwestern Indiana. Ice totals in this area, ice could accrete up to a half an inch in some places, especially along the Ohio River. I would not be surprised to see a few reports up to a half inch down there. Ice storm warnings may be needing if that verifies to get those higher end amounts. Right now, across the board, anywhere between a quarter of an inch up to a third of an inch of ice is expected across southwest Indiana. This could cause power outages, though, but the good news is the stronger winds do not look to come into play until after this event has moved out. Wind speeds during the event look to be around 10 to 15 miles per hour, perhaps gusting to 20 miles per hour. Here we are at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. This is when a lot of your heavier ice starts to pick up. You can see your low pressure center sitting right down here close to the New Madrid area between northwest Tennessee, southeast Missouri. That's where your low pressure center is. Your warm fronts just south of the Ohio River at this time will have winds out of the northeast at about 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to perhaps 25 to 30. But then as we go into tomorrow night, winds begin to pick up substantially. We can have gusts of 40 to 45 during this time period with sustained winds between 20 to 25 miles per hour across central Indiana. This will cause blowing and drifting snow. And again, these winds are out of the northeast. Keep that in mind. This may also cause additional power outages. A lot of trees are used to winds coming in from the west to east. This will be east to west. So do keep that in mind if you have any trash cans out as well. The winds will be coming from the northeast as we are on the north side of this low pressure system. And then here we are tomorrow morning. This is Monday morning, 5 a.m. Your low is actually now north of the Ohio River, right around the Ohio River. And that'll be moving on in the north. Your strongest winds will be on the north side of Indianapolis during that time frame. But again, this is our first winter storm of the season, so do treat it with caution if you're out on the roadways. We do expect moderate accumulations to heavy accumulations of 6 to 8 plus, perhaps getting close to 10 inches around Indy Metro and across central Indiana. Southern Indiana, a little bit less, where you have that rain, freezing rain mixing in. That'll reduce snow totals down there. Northern Indiana, north of, let's say, Highway 18, a sharp gradient there going from 6 to 8, 3 to 5, 2 to 4, and then trace to 2 up by Gary to South Bend, Indiana, all the way over towards Angola. So that's kind of your sharp gradients there. And there is still time for this low to deviate a little bit. We may see a slightward shift north or south. Keep in mind, a minor shift of 20 miles, that's a whole county. So if we shift north, let's say 20 miles over the next 24 hours, we'll see the heaviest snow total shift about a county north. And if it shifts south, vice versa. So there is still time to see some slight deviations in the exact track of this low. And that's where the uncertainty lies in the National Weather Service too. So that is why we have those winter storm watches still in effect for northern Indiana's CWA, which include Wells County, Huntington County, Jay County. Those areas are still in a winter storm watch for that, and for that reason. It's a really sharp gradient. Even in the same county, you may have differences of 3 to 4 inches between north and south across portions of north central northern Indiana. So there is still times to see some minor adjustments here, but forecast models and latest guidance are starting to get a really good lock on this system. Ryan, anything else you have?
No, not really. Just kind of going over it with you. It looks like wind gusts potentially peaking overnight Sunday into early Monday morning there. Like you said, they're 40 to 50 miles or 30 to 40 miles per hour, perhaps 45 in spots across much of the entire state of Indiana, perhaps Illinois, and it's moving into Ohio here as well. And perhaps even southern Michigan getting in on some wind gusts there. So we may have to break out our trash can window meter for this time frame. But just aside from that, I think just overall impacts of blowing snow and perhaps even some impacts from winds taking down tree limbs and stuff like that. Definitely going to have a possibility here with this system.
Yeah, again, treat the system with caution. I mean, it is our first synoptic snow of the season. We have not had a winter storm yet in the Midwest region for Indiana and Ohio. Right. So do treat it with caution. We could have some significant travel impacts around the Indy Metro. So
I see chat here. Kevin says, good morning. Kenny says, thank you for all we do. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Paul says, happy Saturday. What time will all the snow start for Indianapolis? I hope Caleb just answered that for you, Paul. If he has not, if you didn't catch it, let us know. We'll go back over that in terms of timing. Manuel says, hey, all. What's up, Manuel? And what's up, Ben? Good to see you guys here in chat with us, rocking on this Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are doing okay. If you guys are in the impact areas, hope you guys taking precautions, getting yourselves ready for our first big synoptic winter system of the year. Let's all stay safe and let's keep ourselves safe here. We all know first snowfall of the year, people forget how to drive. So let's keep ourselves safe. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, for Indy Metro, in case I didn't answer that or you came in late, here we're looking at the HRRR. This is 2 p.m. Some light to moderate snow starting to move into Entry Metro. Probably late morning, early afternoon is when the onset of the most of the snow will move into Indy Metro. As we move into tomorrow night, tomorrow evening is when the most significant impacts in terms of heavy snow I would expect for Indianapolis. Here we are at 8 p.m. Sunday night. Your low pressure is sitting here over in southeast Missouri coming into Illinois. Here we have your precipitations maximized across Indiana and southern Indiana as well. The bulk of the freezing rain will come tomorrow night, probably after 5 p.m. Same thing with the heavy snow across central Indiana. We'll see snowfall rates in excess of 2 inches per hour during this time. Heavy rainfall and heavy sleet as well. And again, I would not be surprised to see some sleet mixing in these darker blues here that you see here from Bloomington areas just a little bit north, maybe over towards Seymour. I would not be surprised to see some sleet or some mixed precipitation mixing in there as well. But again, Indianapolis, probably the bulk of the timing would be between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon for the heaviest snow. But the snow will start late morning, early afternoon, and then continue. Therefore, the snow does look to move out by Monday afternoon, by around 3 to 5 p.m. Should be out of the picture for you guys. So go back here to chat here, see if we have any of the questions here. Manuel says, Indy here, I got all my stuff Thursday and Friday, checked my parents, and I'm probably not going to work on Monday. We'll see. Yeah, we'll just have to see. That's a good call, though. Road conditions will probably still be significantly snow-covered into Monday morning as this system will be finishing up. So do expect snow-covered roads, a lot of school delays, school closures, likely probably Indianapolis and southward especially, even for areas north, Anderson, Muncie area, probably school delays are likely, if not e-learning days. I know a lot of schools here in Indiana opt to e-learning rather than a closure during significant winter events. So make sure your kids are aware of that as well. So I know a lot of schools go back on Monday.
I also want to point out the fact we're not going to rise above freezing after this event either. We're going to stay pretty well below freezing for quite some time. So what falls in terms of snow and ice will likely be there for quite some time.
Yep. Yeah, and another thing to talk about, too, after this event is over, blowing and drifting snow is likely to continue as the winds on the north side of the system crank up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. So ground visibility at times could drop to less than a quarter of a mile. I don't want to say blizzard conditions, but near blizzard conditions are possible on the freeways. As you have those gusts of snow blow the snow at the surface, you could have some reduced visibilities thereof. So do expect some blowing snow. Temperatures are right around 30 degrees, especially Indianapolis and south. It's going to be a heavy snow. As you go north of Indianapolis, temperatures begin to cool down, so you're going to have a lighter flow north of Indy Metro. But a good packing snow for Indianapolis and areas south is going to be a wet, heavy snow that'll compact really nice. And that could also reduce snow totals a little bit too. I know we have a lot of model guidance throwing foot plus totals out there, but you keep in mind when you have heavy snow, it compacts. That compaction can actually limit your higher end accumulations just because of the water capacity within the snow. So heavier snow, lesser totals, but a dense snow. We call that backbreaking snow just because it's such a pain to shovel. That's what it's going to feel like for Indianapolis and areas south. So do keep that in mind as well.
John says, what's Muncie looking like in totals? So Muncie kind of is close to that shift line. So if we see a north shift, it puts you in 6 to 10. If we see a south shift, it's going to put you in a 3 to 6 zone. So you're kind of right there on that line. I'd lean more so right around probably the middle range of that, 3 to...
I'd say 3 to 6.
3 to 6, yeah. I'd probably say. Even though we have you 6 to 10 there, I would lean more so toward the conservative side, perhaps 4 or 5 inches, definitely.
Yeah, right now, Indianapolis has you guys in a winter weather advisory for that uncertainty. They could uptrend you to a winter storm warning if the guidance suggests that we are going to see that northward shift. But right now, Muncie is in a winter weather advisory for the time being.
And like we said, 20-mile shifts are pretty minor in meteorology terms, but geography-wise, it's a county shift. So if we see a minor shift, it could easily shift you in either one of those totals. So
Yep. Yeah, right on the line. We're watching you guys pretty closely. So
we'll likely have another forecast out tomorrow morning as a final forecast, just to kind of nail everything down.
Yep.
I know most of the snow is going to fall Sunday evening, so I think we have time to adjust a few more,
Yep.
adjust to the models today and tonight, as well as tomorrow morning before we actually put a final forecast.
And we are still 36 hours out yet, so there is still time for a slight shift or deviation in the exact track. The system is on shore now. It was sampled by weather balloons and data last night. All that information has been putting into our forecast models to really narrow in a track for this system. However, there are still times where data is missed or misinterpreted, and that'll get reanalyzed tonight, and we'll have a final outlook for you guys tomorrow as that data is analyzed and we're able to lock in a location of the low, temperatures, moisture profiles, all that's taken into consideration, as any changes in any of those increments will have significant impacts or deviations thereof. So definitely a system to watch closely.
All right, guys, any more questions before we pop out of here?
All right, I'll probably do a quick recap here real quick on timing. Here we are tomorrow morning. We're watching snow starting to come in. This is around 5, 6 o'clock. Some light snow starting to move in southwest lower Indiana. By 10 a.m., freezing rain, sleet starting to move in pretty heavily across southeast Indiana, southwest Indiana, Evansville area especially. Indy Metro getting into some light snow. This is around lunchtime. This is 12 p.m. Sunday afternoon. As we move into mid-afternoon, here we are at 6 p.m. Here we are, dinner time. Heavy freezing rain now and sleet moving into southern Indiana. Again, darker blues could have some sleet mixing in there as well. As we move into Sunday evening, here we are at 9 p.m. Starting to get into northern Indiana a little bit. Some lighter snow up there, Wells, Huntington perhaps. Heavy freezing rain. This is when the bulk of the freezing rain will come in across southern Indiana. Can't emphasize that enough. Ice accretions easily could be 1/4 of an inch, if not 1/2 an inch in some places. Heavy sleet just north of there. Even getting close to Indy Metro, maybe perhaps some sleet or very heavy snowfall rates there Sunday night. As we move into early Sunday night into Monday morning, here's 3 a.m. Do not be surprised to see the snow stop and change over to sleet and freezing rain, perhaps even as far north as Indy Metro, I-70. We could have some sleet and freezing rain. This is as our low is pulling up north. We have that warm air advection moving into central Indiana. This will shut off your snow. With light snow moving into northern Indiana, as we move into Monday morning, we see this back end cold air start to sink south as our low moves out. That'll change things over back to snow. Nothing major in the way of snow accumulations on the backside, but a quick 1 to 2 inches is possible on the backside of the system before we're all said and done. Snow should be out of Indiana probably by late afternoon, late evening tomorrow or Monday. So, and that is your quick timing recap here. If you have any questions, feel free to go back to the beginning of the stream here. We covered timing, impact, snow totals, etc. So again, thank you guys for joining us here. We appreciate you here on this Saturday morning. It is 10:45 a.m. and we'll have more updates to follow in the coming days as more data is analyzed, and we'll keep you guys informed of that.
All right. With that being said, we're going to pop out of here. We'll be live, I think, sometime during the day on Sunday, just to give you guys another update. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, stay tuned to our pages. We'll be posting updates, including our traffic maps and impact arrows in terms of timing for each portion of Indiana. So stay tuned for that. We have plenty of info coming your way. With that being said, stay safe, travel safe, and keep yourselves updated on this first winter storm system of 2025.
Yep. Have a good weekend.